Hello, Gabrielle here, and I'm back in my kitchen today, and I could not be more excited to make this recipe. I've been working on this for a few years now. I was raw vegan for about 2 years, and during that time I came up with this awesome raw vegan lasagna, and I'm gonna help you guys learn how to make it. So come on into the kitchen. So I'm just gonna chop off the bottom and the top, and I am using these really nice big juicy zucchinis because those are gonna make the best sheets. What I like to do is once I have it a little bit done, because it's a bigger zucchini, I'm just gonna go in and solidify that. Now, there we go, perfect. And see, these are the noodles you're gonna be getting. Nice, beautiful, thin noodles. So I'm gonna start laying them down like this. So I have my plate right here, and I'm just gonna lay down all of the zucchini noodles. The first way I'm gonna do it is I'm going to do it horizontally, and I'm gonna place it on the plate just like that. And then for the next layers on top of it, I'm gonna place the next ones vertical, just like this, but I'll show you that after we make all of our fillings. All right, so the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make my meaty walnut and mushroom sauce. So I'm gonna put in some mushrooms. I like using these brown ones. They are just nice and hearty and delicious, and they really give the meal a meaty flavor. And then I'm gonna add in some walnuts. And this is about a cup of each of these things. If you want to, you can chop up the mushrooms beforehand, but I just like putting them in there whole. Well, the next thing I'm gonna do is add my sun-dried tomatoes, and this is gonna give it a very marinara, it just adds to the heartiness of how delicious this meal is going to be, and it adds to make it more meaty and gives it all different kinds of dimensions. So the next thing I'm going to add in is some fresh basil and some fresh parsley, just a few leaves. Just going to put that in there. I just always like to have a fresh element instead of using only dry herbs and spices. I like to add in some fresh ones too. And then I'm gonna go into my dry herbs and spices, and the first thing I'm gonna put in there is some garlic powder. And what I'm doing is basically I'm creating the meat of the lasagna, and I'm giving it all the same flavors that you would have in a beef or chicken lasagna or some kind of ragu lasagna, but I'm using 100% raw plants. So the next thing I'm gonna put in is some onion powder, a little bit in there. And what's most important when you make a meal like this is making sure that you have all of your flavors right. Next thing is a little bit of red chili pepper. Give it a little kick to it. There we go. Oh, this is gonna be good. Add a tiny, tiny bit of thyme, not too much. You don't want this to be the main flavor. Not even a teaspoon, I would say. I'm gonna add some oregano. Get that later. Add in a little oregano. And then add in some parsley, and that's the spices you're gonna need to make this a beefy and delicious meat inside of your raw lasagna. I'm gonna add in some salt and pepper next. This is gonna make all of those fresh herbs and spices and dried herbs and spices really pop. And then I'm gonna add in some pepper, of course. I think salt and pepper just go together perfectly. I think if your dish needs something, salt, pepper, and paprika. That's really the key. But for this, we're keeping it Italian, and we're not gonna add any paprika to this one. All right. I'm excited. I made this a few days ago, and I am pumped. All right, so we're gonna plop the top on there. I'm just gonna cover it and get it. Now it depends on the person, but some people like to add in some olive oil to make it all combined together. But I'm not going to for this recipe because I'm trying to keep it oil-free as possible. So I'm just gonna push down around the corners. Push that down just like that. And this smells so good. I'm gonna give it another blend. Okay. Nice, so you're gonna set this aside. We're gonna use this later. And the next thing we're gonna move on to is we're going to make our red sauce. And this is very simple recipe. You're gonna take some tomatoes. I like using cherry tomatoes because I just like a little sweet pop in my sauce. So I'm gonna add in some cherry tomatoes. Say about a half cup of them. And then I'm gonna add in the rest of my sun-dried tomatoes. And this again is gonna give it a nice, juicy, meaty, earthy texture. Give it something really hearty that your teeth can latch onto. And then I'm gonna add in my fresh parsley and my basil again. All right. And then I'm gonna add some salt and pepper. Yes, I love this song that's playing right now. Who thought I'd get you? Yeah, yeah. I should start singing to my food more. I do, honestly, sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. All right, so we have our salt and pepper in there, and then I'm gonna throw in just a splash of some cashew milk. Just like that. There we go. And then I'm gonna add in a little bit of garlic and onion powder. Just a touch. There we go. And then add in some more of that. There we go. Perfect. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make all of the separate elements and then we're gonna combine them together in the lasagna layer by layer. Let's get this going. Somehow, right? I just choose to dance and sing. That's just me. Oh my gosh, that smells so good. The sun-dried tomatoes in this smell incredible. Just gonna rinse this off for our next element. So the next thing we're gonna be making is the cashew cream. I'm gonna throw in my cashews. I'm excited. This cashew cream, I honestly put it on everything. You can use it in Mexican food, you can use it in Italian, in Indian, it doesn't really matter. It's just so delicious. And then I'm gonna add in about a tablespoon of minced garlic, just like that. And then I'm gonna add in a little bit of lemon juice and some maple syrup in there. I poured the maple syrup in there, and then we're just gonna dump that in there. And then a little splash of some coconut milk. And you can use coconut or cashew, it doesn't really matter. Whatever fits your allergies or whatever you like. I prefer to use cashew milk for cashew-based dips and things like that, but it kind of just depends. If you're allergic to cashews, you know, you could use something, a different kind of nut for this, and you could just use a completely different kind of milk as well. So. My pesto from my previous video, the creamy pesto pasta. This is the same pesto I use. It's just some cashews, spinach, some fresh basil, and a bunch of spices, and it's really delicious. Once you have a spoon and everything and you're ready to assemble your meal, you're gonna just start piling things on. So I have my zucchini noodles laid out that I did earlier. And then the first thing I'm gonna put on is some of our walnut and mushroom meat. And I'm just gonna spread it out evenly across. I'm making this pretty big, because you know I gotta have a bite too. I gotta make enough so that Ace has some, and I have some, and we always love leftovers. So I'm gonna make sure I have that. So I'm just gonna press this down all around that first layer, just like that. This is gonna be so hearty. I say that a lot with my meals because personally for me, during the winter time, I can eat raw vegan, it's fine. I'm not craving too many warmed up things, but I do need a hearty dish, and this is perfect for that. It's got the Italian warm flavors to it. It's got the nice kick from the pepper, and it's definitely got a thickness to the meat and the different layers on it so that it tastes very, very hearty. Okay, so then I'm gonna add on my other layer of zucchini, just like that. Just 3 across, perfect. And then the next thing I'm gonna add in is my marinara that I made earlier. Ooh, this is nice and thick. Wow. All right, give that a nice spread. And what I'm gonna do at the end is cut off all of the loose edges. So don't worry about it when you're assembling, just kind of put everything on there. And it doesn't really matter if it's too perfect on the corners or anything like that. Just make sure you have a nice thick layer all the way across. Okay, the next layer we're going to do is the cashew cream. Just like that. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. Let me taste it. That's what I'll taste. Ooh! Ooh! And then I'm gonna put on another layer, and this time it's gonna be the opposite direction of the way I did it before. And then I'm gonna put on my pesto that I was talking about that I made from the earlier video. So we're just gonna pile that on, just like that. Now I said this was 6 layers of epic deliciousness. I was not playing games. When I make raw vegan food, it has to be epic and it has to taste delicious. And like I said, it has to be hearty, especially in the winter time. You want to eat something that's fresh and delicious that'll make you feel good, but this is something that also really fills you up. All right, so last layer. The next thing we're gonna do is add on a little bit more meat just to kind of finish the sandwich that is. I wish you guys could smell this. Every time I make one of these, I'm like, man, I wish they could smell how good this smells. Or maybe you're making it while I'm making it. Who knows? I don't know how you got all the ingredients quickly together, but good for you. All right, and then I'm gonna finish it off with some more marinara and just gonna put that all over. And it's okay if it mixes in with the meat, just makes it more delicious. And what's crazy about this meal is that it's raw. It doesn't seem like it is when you're eating it. It really tastes very hearty and very meaty, and the structure is just very good to crunch into. So it's kind of crazy to think that this is 100% raw vegan. And then just a dollop of this, just like that. Perfect decoration skills. And I'm just gonna sprinkle over some of that. Yay! All right, next thing. I'm just gonna cut away at the sides. Come on, girl, there you go. It's actually not that hard to cut these little pieces off, just because, I mean, it's zucchini, so they kind of just fall off. I should be able to just lift this up, plop it down. Oh, nice. That looks so good. And I'm just gonna give it a fresh garnish. I'm just gonna snip it over. Just like that. Yum! Look at this beautiful creation I have made today. I'm about to go in on this. So let's have a bite. Yes, 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 yes. So good. Wow. It's so meaty. The mushroom with the walnut, it tastes like I'm eating beef, which is weird. I haven't eaten beef in so long. You all saw how easy it was to make this. Super simple, just layers of deliciousness, and you're ready to go. This meal is 100% soy-free, it's gluten-free, and it is delicious as all get out. So get in the kitchen, go get yourself some groceries, and make yourself some raw vegan lasagna while I finish all of this. Thanks for watching, you guys. I'll see you later. Bye.